Alright guys, yeah, it's been not too bad of an afternoon. It's been a bit of a break in the bad weather. We had some really rubbish weather this past week. It was really wet and windy. I thought since it's a break it'd be a good chance to have a get out. So, and yeah, this time of year it's probably not the best time of year for spotting potential. As I say, with all the bad weather, we've had most of all the fungi or fungi has gone. Found the remains of a native polypore, which I don't really use it. And again, with tinder, most of the tinder fungus has gone. Which is a bit of a shame because it's nice to see when you're out and about, but I don't really use them. Never needed to, so it doesn't make too much of a difference to me. But yeah, it does give you a good indicator of the season change as we get ready for spring. So, right, we'll see what else is out there. Right, what I've gathered here are spruce roots, or pine roots if you like. I've got two. I mean, this isn't very long. I don't think I needed one particularly long for this bit of a demonstration. Yeah, okay. They do go from that thickness, this is sort of medium thickness, average thickness if you like, to sort of finger thickness to thumb thickness, and then this is another one, much thinner, much finer, and of course much more delicate, but much more flexible. Right, and of course they are used for cordage or string or the woodman's wire if you like. And basically I thought I'd just do a bit of a demonstration on how to prepare spruce roots to use in that manner of speaking as cordage, because I've not really done a video on natural cordage or natural string or however. Okay, and so what you can do is this is if you just pull these shoots off, that is more or less good enough to go as it is. You can just use it as a bit of sort of twine just to quickly tie something together, strap something to your rucksack. Not really much use that thin, it's really delicate, but yeah, starting thin and getting bigger. Now, there are several ways you can do this. The first is of course just use, if you're making a shelter for example, you probably want a bit of a thicker one, but if you were going to make a shelter and you wanted to tie it up, this, you could just use this straight as it is. It's flexible enough and it's strong as well, but yeah, so short term and for sort of rough shelter building, that's ideal. But if you wanted something a bit more finer, like for making I don't know, making some sort of elegant pot hanger, you might want a bit of a neater piece, and obviously you have to process it to achieve that. Now, and to do that, there are a couple of ways you can do it. I'm just going to clean this piece of hawthorn up. It's a very spiky. Don't want it too big. Just a nice clean cut. Just want something about that size. That thickness as well is ideal. Green wood preferably for using this to make this tool. But of course you could use a piece of dead spruce if need be. But as I say, green bit of wood works ideal. And just clean the spikes off it. Don't spike myself. Right, and what you want to do is you want to take one end of this and just sort of shape it, taper it if you like, to a flat sort of bevel, a bit like that. I want a bit more work to tidy it up. You don't want to go too thin, of course. You want to maintain that thickness, but sort of it looks a bit like a flathead screwdriver, if you like. And then you want to split it a couple of centimetres, making sure you don't cut yourself in the process. There you are. That's ideal. And then put your knife away, and then what you want to do is to clean the outer bark off of this. That's a bit bendy, I probably won't want to use that bit. Find a good straight bit, and of course slide it between that split and the pressure, the elasticated pressure of the bit of green wood. This is why I say use green wood, because you just get that bit more grip, and then you can just slowly begin to tidy that spruce root up. As you can see, the bark already wears away. I mean, you could use, you know, if you were short on time and you needed this relatively quickly, you could just use the back of your knife or even a saw blade. But again, with being bushcraft, you know, sort of one of the old creeds is make the tool that makes the job easier. This is a good way of demonstrating that. Very satisfying as well, actually. I quite enjoy it. You want to basically work your way through the whole length of the root until there's no bark or little shoots left on. Okay, and then eventually it will look something like this. Now, just before you think it's cheated, I suppose I have cheated in a way. I have cut this a bit smaller, partly because, you know, it was really bendy like that. You know, that's not very good for cordage because the bends are brittle. Yeah, that little bit of pressure and it cracks. But yeah, that's more or less ideal. It's still really flexible. And the reason you take the bark off is because when the bark itself dries, that is what sends the root brittle. So you want to be aware of that. That's the reason why I say if you want in a long-term fixture, it's always best to clean it. And to make the root go further, this bit of root probably really is too small to do this. But I could perhaps just show you. Okay, so if you want to make the root go further and effectively double the amount of cordage that you have, which is probably useful since I've trimmed this one, is you want to get your knife and really careful, because this is the bit where I've just neatened that end up, where I've sort of cut myself several times. You want to split it so far. That's probably not the best end though. Try the other end. Yeah, that must be better. Just clean it up a minute. You want to split so far in, really gently. Now, once you've got that split, I'll just do it a little bit deeper. Now there are two ways of doing this. You can separate that just using your fingers, which is what most people tend to do, but me personally, I always like following it through with my knife, which is more accurate. It's a bit, yes, it is slower, but I find it more accurate. So if I just do that, yeah, that's how the spruce root cordage is really processed. But you know, like I say, you know, I hardly ever process it that far, to that degree, making it that far. Cause I don't know. My level of bushcraft isn't. No, it's nothing like some other people's on YouTube, or like Raymears, and you know, I'm quite a rough bushcrafter, as it as it goes. So yeah, I hardly ever do that, but it's just something I thought it'd be a good thing to put on the video. Just go grab my jacket. Getting a bit cold still here. Can't escape that winter chill that's still in the air. So anyway, yeah, but anyway, guys, one other thing was just something to sort of sum up the video. I was when I was walking out here the other day, and I had all my kit with me. You know, I was talking to an old couple. They stopped and said hello, and they were sort of asking me. They says, "Whereabouts are you going?" They say, "You look like you're going a long way," and you can't help but laugh, because you know they don't understand the kit you carry as a woodsman or as a bushcraft or bushcrafter, if you like, and yeah, they don't fully understand like the tools that you use, and yeah, cause like, you know, cause like you see some walkers like up in the national parks in the Dales, they'll have much less kit than me, and they'll be going sort of 10 times as far as I'll be going distance wise. But that relates back to kit as well. So like I tend to carry all my kit with me, nearly everything I own that I use in bushcraft, apart from obviously my sleeping bag and my tarps and my bivvy bag and my cooking stove and what have you. Because that way, you know, whenever you set out into the woods, you never know exactly what you're going to encounter. So it's always good to have everything with you, because occasionally you'll find a piece of fungus, or you'll want to make a fire and you'll think, ah, damn, fire steel, or box of matches. So yeah, it's always nice to have everything with you, and it doesn't weigh a lot, to be honest. But if I was going out into the woods for one specific job, item, then of course I'd perhaps leave most of it at home, just take my knife and my fire steel, or my axe and my saw, or whatever. So yes, just a little bit of a description about my kit and how I operate. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. As I say, it's just something a little bit different. So yeah, thanks again.